How's it going, guys? Ben here, One Take Thoughts, and welcome to another video. This is part two, kind of a video I made last week called Getting Rejected. Now, I'd recommend watching that first. You don't have to before you see this one, but it might kind of mesh well together. I don't know. This video, I haven't quite thought of the title yet, but this video I want to talk about rejection and being rejected by a girl and how you view that and how you deal with that as a Christian, and primarily as a Christian. I don't have good dating advice for the world. Frankly, I believe that dating in 21st century America and the Western world is a bloodbath. Um, I think it's very ugly. It's very sad the way where it's gone. Social media, dating sites, communities on both sides, feminism, incelism, all these different things kind of have made this war of dating, and it's just gotten so ugly. War of the sexes, a lot. Um, so I have nothing for that. Now, what I do have is what I believe to be biblical, at least from what I've looked at the Bible and how I understand the Bible, biblical views on dating and marriage, and I guess also just a lot of my own interpretation and how I've kind of looked at getting rejected as a mid 20s guy. So, how do I view rejection? And how should we view rejection as Christians? Well, I can't say and speak for everyone, but there's a verse that kind of helps me along and guides me along in this. And the verse is Proverbs 19:14. Yes, it is. Houses and riches are an inheritance from fathers, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. So, this is kind of the verse that I will go off of. A prudent wife, there's a lot that could be said inside that, but um, essentially what I'm looking at is that a wife who is a good and lovely woman, a Proverbs 31 woman, that's a gift. That's a gift from God, guys. And this is an even deeper thought in my mind. So I believe that God has already chosen who we are to marry. I believe that ultimately God has chosen all things according to his own will for our lives. Um, at least orchestrated it in his own power, in his own way to move things along. And for example, you see the lineage of Jesus leading down to Jesus. I believe that all those things were orchestrated together, however he has willed to put together them, to his own will and for his own glory in his own kingdom. And that's kind of how I look at marriage as well, is that marriage and a wife is a gift from the Lord, and there are people who are married and there are people who aren't married. Both are good. Paul talks about this. Both are good. To be single and to be married are both great and fine. Um, but uh, it's a gift. And every man has his own calling. I know great, wonderful Christian brothers and sisters who have not been married for 80, 90 years. I know a couple men who are 40s and they're unmarried. And I know many, many Christian couples, many Christian families. There's both. And it's all according to the kingdom of God. And so that's how I believe that we should view getting married in a relationship. Is we should view it through the lens of, is this beneficial to the kingdom? Because ultimately that is what's important, is the kingdom of God and how he sees fit to put that together. And if he sees fit that I would be more useful to him and to his will to be single than for me to be married with a woman, then by all means he must do that, and he should do that because it's his own will. Uh, and so when I look at rejection, I understand that this veneer of a girl rejecting me, whatever reason she may have, ultimately, my gripe is with God. I mean that very, hopefully, respectfully, but I'm not ultimately getting rejected from her as much as I am getting rejected, or God is saying, this is not going to happen. That's how I see it. And I believe that's biblical. Another example is Ecclesiastes. So I will bring this over to you guys, and I think this is one of the best cases for my point, if I can find it. So it is Ecclesiastes. Come on. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. They call me a Bible believer. Can't even find Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 11, verse 1 through 6. Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days. Give a serving to 8 and also to give a serving to 7 and also to 8, for you do not know what evil will be on the earth. If the clouds are full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. And if a tree falls to the south or the north, in the place where the tree falls, there it shall lie. He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap. As you do not know what is the way of the wind, or how the bones grow in the womb of her who is with child, so you do not know the works of God who makes everything. In the morning sow your seed, and in the evening do not withhold your hand, for you do not know which will prosper, either this or that, or whether both alike will be good. So, the way I see it is that according to God's will, he will make my metaphorical seed that I throw out prosper, or he will allow it to hit rocky ground and not prosper. And in that light, I view dating, and I view it as, and that way I also don't take all the rejection on myself and say, oh, it's because I'm this or because I'm that. No, it's because God has ultimately decided that that is not to be. In another verse, in Proverbs 22, 14, it says, the mouth of an immoral woman is a deep pit. He who is abhorred by the Lord will fall there. So there's this very clear sense to me that God is the orchestrator of love. God is the orchestrator of relationships and marriage, and some are given the gift of singleness, and some are given the gift of marriage. And so ultimately, you can't take too much of the rejection on your own shoulders, because you have to realize that it's according to God who you marry and who your kids are. And that is what I believe to be the truth from the Bible. So that's how I believe, that's how I kind of see it through the Christian lens. When it comes to the world, I had a commenter I was kind of talking to, and they were talking about the black pill concept, and I don't have an answer for that. I know historically there have been groups of people who have chose to be celibate and kind of forsake family and marriage and all of that because they believed that it was just too messy at that time, and or they believed it was sinful even to be married and have sex, and those people did not procreate, so those groups did not last long, which is kind of funny, ironic, and kind of sad as well. But I believe that it's always been messy. Relationships and everything have always been messy, and I don't want people to be hopeless, because there is hope. But if you're an unbeliever, I don't recommend searching after a spouse at this time. I know that's hard to say, but seek after the kingdom, and God will bring all the things that you need after you have sought the kingdom. So that's kind of part 2 of this video series. Hopefully you guys found it to be educational, or at least interesting. And yeah, thank you for watching, and have a great one.